Welcome back. This is episode 4 of Culinary Conversations. And this evening we're going to be showing you how to do some good fresh artichokes. Now, artichokes may be a vegetable you're not maybe familiar with. I have a sample right here, small jars, and like in our household we buy the big jars because my wife loves artichokes. But this episode here we're going to be featuring how to cook artichokes. Several different ways to do them, but we're going to do the most simplistic way that you can use artichokes when they're in the peak of season, which is summer, because we are in summer, and we're going to show you how to make them sing. So here we go. We have 3 nice full artichokes. They're in the peak of season. Some of the tools you're going to be using, you're going to be using some kitchen scissors, a nice knife, and a peeler. We have salt and pepper, we have a lemon, and we have some extra virgin olive oil. I also have some peppers that I roasted off earlier, red pepper, orange pepper, as well as I have a green bell pepper just got finished being roasted on top of an open gas flame. Then we're going to prepare a little salad. We're going to show you a practical way of how to make artichokes and how to incorporate it within a salad. But there's several ways that you can use it. So here we go. One of the first things you're going to do is take the kitchen scissors and you're going to peel off the tips. Now, one thing about artichokes is I'm peeling these tips off. They're quite fibrous. And just the term artichoke, the middle part, which is the heart, if you will, that's beyond the heart, that is not edible. And we're going to show you as we get to that part. So right now I'm just shearing off the tips because the tips are very hard and fibrous. And then after we shear off the tips, we're going to start to peel this stem, and we'll cut it down a little bit, and we'll pick some of these petals off, which we won't need. And then we'll commence with going to the next step of the artichokes. So just to give you a little background on artichokes, artichokes themselves is a perennial vegetable, and a perennial vegetable is a vegetable that grows, or a plant that grows for more than 2 years. The shelf life of the artichoke, once you buy it, is just a few days. If you're going to keep it beyond that, you could freeze it, or if you don't get to cooking it right away when you get it home from the grocery store, you can actually trim the bottom and put it in a little water like you'll do spring onions or other type vegetables to keep it nice and moist and it won't turn brown. But one of the things you can use to keep vegetables from, especially green vegetables, from going brown is a lovely lemon juice that's acidic. Artichoke is a vegetable and it derived from Italy, actually from Sicily. It migrated from Italy to France, which artichokes became more well known and popular in. But artichokes are classically used in Italian cuisine in several different ways. One little fact I found out about artichokes that may be of interest to you. I've read and kind of know perhaps now that artichokes is a natural aphrodisiac to women. And my wife loves pasta salad, and she has to have plenty of olives, plenty of feta cheese, and she buys 3 or 4 jars of artichokes. So I know for sure she loves these. So if you're a guy, I suggest you start getting some more artichokes into your love life. We have the artichoke cleaned up. We have all the tips gone from it. And then we just cut the top base part. And as you see here, you see the actual inner core of the artichoke. And this is the actual choke, denotes artichoke. And then here you can see we cut this one in half so you can see this is the choke, or the flower, if you will. Because with the artichoke, once it starts to blossom, you cannot eat it. It turns into a nice deep purple flower, and this is the choke, and it comes all the way out, and it looks wonderful. So right now we've already peeled the stem and then cut about 1 inch off of it. Now we're going to get ready to steam it. If I have about 1.5 cups of hot water, I'm going to put a little salt in it. I already kind of have it pre-seasoned ahead of time. And just a couple teaspoons of olive oil. And then we have a steamer basket, which a lot of people may have and haven't used it, but a steamer basket comes in handy with a lot of vegetables. If you don't have a steamer basket, don't let it stop you. But this is a good investment. And we're just going to cut our artichokes in half. And like I said, it's very fibrous, so you want to make sure you have a sharp knife. Okay? So here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. So we're going to put them inside of our steamer. Got hot water, a little salt, a little olive oil. And we're going to let them steam for about 30 to 40 minutes. So this is our bell pepper that you saw earlier that I was charring off. And you can do it one or two ways. One of the simple ways to do it if you have a gas stove. Just put it right on top of a gas stove over the flame and just let it get nice and black. Remember to have your fan on so your fire alarm won't go off in your house. And you just peel off the outer layer. Now another way you could do it is you could put it inside of a plastic Ziploc bag. It will cause it to sweat and cause the outer layer of skin to come completely off. For me, I like to get my hands involved with grilling and charring things because, you know, when you're touching food, you're kind of transferring a part of yourself to the food. So you want to make sure you got a good disposition when you're cooking. You don't want to be cooking when you're sick, when you're mad, when you're upset. Music always helps. I have Clifford Brown on, Night in Tunisia, I believe. So that helps my mood when I'm cooking. That's what makes my food taste good. When people are like, man, the flavors were wonderful because it was inside of me. So always cook with a good disposition. And you don't have to have it so clean. If you buy roasted red peppers, you see sometimes you see some of the char still on it, which kind of gives it character. What can help you as well, you could take a knife at this point and just gently take off all the rest of the outer skin that's charred. Me personally, I like to have a little bit on it, but we're just going to just clean it up real good because we want our salad that we're going to make with our artichokes to really have a nice presentation. So we don't want it filled with black roasted skin. And look at that, it looks really good. Nice charred. And it's warm too, and salads, especially when you're doing with vegetables, salads are the best when they're nice and warm. We're almost finished with our artichokes. We're getting ready to make our salad. So I have a nice medium hot pan with a little grapeseed oil, and we're gonna put in some quartered mushrooms, about 3. And all we're gonna do is just kind of saute them up a little bit because we're serving these artichokes with roasted red pepper, red and green and yellow bell pepper. And then we also have here the artichokes. As you see, they are nice and cooked and quite tender. So remember the choke part, we're going to lift that out with a small spoon, and everything else, it will be edible. Okay? Just going to put a little salt and pepper with it. And all it is going to complement. So we're not going to add any garlic or anything like that. Want to get them nice and brown until they start to kind of wilt. We'll turn it down a bit and we'll start making our salad. We have our mushrooms. We just turned the heat off of these and you see they're just a little nice and brown, wilted, not much oil. A little salt and pepper just to give it a little flavor. We're going to move our artichokes over to the table. And the aroma in this kitchen, I wish it was smell-o-vision. It is awesome. So if you're unfamiliar with certain vegetables such as artichokes, through this episode you'll feel quite comfortable cooking them. So as I mentioned before, this particular part here, the flour, is the choke. So we're going to remove that because that is not edible. We're going to take that out. And it's very simple, just a nice little small spoon that you use for coffee or tea, or some of you connoisseurs of ice cream, you only like to use a small spoon. Just going to move all that out. Now, one thing about artichokes is, you probably heard the term where you could just cook them in a little butter and they have a nice soft taste. You could do that as well. And then one other thing too is that the inner core, like this right here, this is edible here. You can just take it. Oh my gosh. It's good. Now you don't eat it, you just take that small part off. I'll show you again. Just peel one off. And this part here is the edible part. This right here. It's good. And it's cooked. So we're going to remove this here out the way. I think we got them all cleared out. So this right here is the precious heart, the artichoke heart, okay? So we're going to just cut it in half, like so. These petals here, they call, this part here is a part that you can eat. That right there. It's almost like the caviar of the artichoke. As you tell, I'm getting excited. So I'm gonna finish this out. And you probably see these in fine grocery stores, such as the Bruno's here in Philadelphia. You find it in the San Francisco Bay Area and Artichokes, as well as Whole Foods. You'll see them marinated in olive oil like this. And you can eat them like this. This is like a Roman style of marinated artichoke. You'll see them in a jar like this with peppers and onions and garlic. All right, so we're going to remove all the outer part here. And this is the part that we want. Okay. And there you have it, is the artichoke heart. Okay. I'm going to put all of them in the bowl here. Then we're going to put together a little simple vinaigrette. And we're going to macerate it and add the mushrooms and the bell peppers, red, yellow, and green. And we're going to serve it up real quick. We'll be right back. We're getting ready to put our artichoke salad together. Here we have the fresh artichoke hearts. Now they don't look like what you'll normally see in a store, but these are actually the hearts. They're quite tender. And what you normally see in the stores, what you see here, you see more of the petals, but they are brined. And when you brine something, that means you're using vinegar, water, sugar, oil, spices, almost like a pickle, but it's not really a pickle, it's a brine. A brine is something that it stays in for maybe 12 to 24 hours, where you brine a turkey, poultry, or chicken. But here, this is almost, you can almost say like a brine slash pickle. But just wanted to show you what it looks like in a jar versus what we have here. So these are the actual artichoke hearts. Putting some orange in there for color. And one thing about bell pepper, if you have some in the house that you're not using on a salad or on a pasta dish or any other type of cuisine, if you got a gas flame, or just roast them in the oven. And you can have the same thing that they sell in the store for $5 or $6 or more. You have it right in your refrigerator that you can incorporate within any dish. And you can be as creative as you want. You could put garlic in it. You could put green olives, black olives. But here we're just keeping it real simple because we want the artichokes to be the focal point. I'm going to add my mushrooms. It's going to make a simple vinaigrette. We start with a little red wine vinegar. About a couple tablespoons. Always remember the ratio of olive oil to vinegar. Olive oil 1 and vinegar 2. I got a little Dijon mustard, kind of got ahead of myself. Let's put a little Dijon mustard in there for the acidic. We'll put a little minced garlic, just a hair, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. A little salt, a little kosher salt, a little black pepper, about a quarter teaspoon each. We got the juice of a lemon. We're just going to start with a half. Make sure we don't get any seeds in it. And this is one method of doing it with your hands. So you got the seeds here that's going in the trash, and just juice going between your fingers there. Okay? So right here we got red wine vinegar, we got lemon juice, got a little Dijon mustard, and we have a little bit of garlic, chopped garlic. And then I'm gonna hold this close to me. I'm just gonna pour just a small amount of oil just to incorporate. So this is just gonna be a simple salad. And if you don't wanna go through these steps, you can simply just take a couple splashes of vinegar, red wine vinegar, a couple splashes of olive oil, salt and pepper, and you just bring it together. Tongs. You know, right now I got more peppers than I do artichokes, people. I should have bought more. But we're just gonna season up a little salt and pepper. And then let us not forget, always best to add a little fresh herbs. So I got some Italian parsley that's been washed. I just want to just mince it up a bit. You know, this is something you can eat at night after 7 o'clock. It won't go against you. You'll be able to sleep well too. You can have this with some nice focaccia or some whole wheat or seeded baguette. I'm just gonna mix that together. It smells wonderful. This will go nice with some grilled chicken or broiled fish. I'm gonna grab me a spoon and we're just gonna plate this up. And we want the artichokes to be the highlight. So we're gonna hold back all of the other vegetables we have. And we're gonna let the artichokes do what they're supposed to do, be the highlight of the meal. Put a few mushrooms in there. And I'm telling you, it's nothing like vegetables. If they're cooked properly with integrity, you'll forget about meat. I'm gonna take another spoon, just take a little of this and just drizzle over it. We're gonna make it look pretty. The food's supposed to be not just pretty, it's supposed to be sensual. We don't want to use the term sexy, we're gonna make it sensual. And I tell you, take a little bit of that artichoke, a little bit of the pepper, a little bit of mushroom. That's good. So, we learned how to do artichokes, got some background information on it. It has a high degree of potassium in it, so it's good for your system. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please stay tuned.